Do a little exposure blending video for you to see how I blend the exposure of this sky here into this foreground, obviously with a few elements around that could very well get in the way. So what I've done here, this sky, I literally did some Lightroom adjustments, only looking at the sky. I might even make it a bit more blue, just a tad. I've cranked the shadows up massively with no intention of using them. So as you can see, I'm still pretty low on the histogram with the shadows at 100. I've only done that to help the blend a bit better. As you can see, possibly in this video, there's still a bit of color noise and that in there, so I'd never probably try and print with anything like that, but that's why I've got this exposure here, where at just a little bit of shadow detail, I've got a lot more workable pixels. So the plan is to blend this foreground into this sky in Photoshop. So I'll select both of them. Open as layers in Photoshop. Right, now the both of them are in. I'll just select the both of them while Vacom's playing up. So I'll select the both of them and auto align the layers. I'm just going to select the automatic blend mode there. It usually does a pretty good job. You can toggle on and off. I was shooting on a rock, so I'm confident everything's intact. What I'll do now is I would work off using a mask on the image that has the most contrast. So obviously between darks and lights there is a bit, but this one's just got heaps more. So I'm going to just create a blank mask on that, and working off this pixel based image, not the layer mask, I can look at what luminosity masks are going to suit best. So obviously lights 1, red is what's going to be selected and white's what's not. Look, it's selecting probably a little bit too much into the dark, so I'll turn that one off and I'll have a look at lights 2. I assume this is going to be what I'm after, and yeah, there's fairly good separation. Over here the clouds probably are missing a little bit, but we can fix that later on. So I'll get my panel back up, I'll turn that view off, and I've got that bright 2 lights 2 whatever mask selected. Go over to my layer mask. I'm going to press Command H to hide all those little dots. So with a black brush at about 75% opacity, I'm just going to make a couple of passes across the sky. At 75% with a mask, you might be looking at about 4 or 5 passes to get to 100%. I don't understand how that algorithm of everything works, but it doesn't paint solely. I guess the mask might not be 100% selected as white. So looking at that, that's fairly good, but I want to paint it in a little bit more. So at this stage, I'd probably option click what I've painted and work on the black and white layer a little bit. So right now I'm going to deselect that luminosity mask I had, so that's given me a really good base to fine tune a mask. With a black brush I can just, again 75%, just go around and paint the bits I missed. If you're getting a bit close to these kind of areas that you don't want selected, change your brush mode to overlay. And what overlay does, so I've got grace black selected, any pixel that's over 50% grey is going to go black, and it's going to leave the white the same. So it's a super accurate way to make selections. And then when I change to white, the role reverse, so any pixel that's less than 50% grey overlay is going to turn it white and not paint it in. So you'll see there's a little bit of a backwards and forwards process here, and then back to X, making those darker, back to white, and back to X. And believe it or not, after I do all that, back to normal mode. I often usually supposed to make the brush bigger then. Why is that not doing that? At say 20%, deselect, everything's deselected. I might just do a couple of passes and then maybe a white pass up here. Not that bright, so maybe at 5% a white pass, and that's just going to help blend everything a little bit better. Come back to here and you can see it's still very flat. That's what a blend always looks like. Then you start working your contrast in, but I'm quite confident that I've retained as much. I'll bring up a red brush. All this area here's got great detail still in it, and the skies, nothing's clipping. I've still got a fairly good histogram. I would work the histogram out and expand the dynamic range a bit more, and I've actually got quite a bit of room before the whites do start to clip. So I've got a fairly good base image to start, going off that luminosity mask and a little bit of exposure blending through brushes and that kind of stuff. Hope this helps a little bit. I'm going to keep editing and we'll go from there.